Alright guys, so this is DB browser for SQLite. You'll notice when you first load it up you've got nothing in there, it's very blank. To create a new database you just click the new database button at the top left and you can choose where to save it. I'm just going to save mine to the desktop and call it testdb. Okay, you can call yours whatever you like. And you can see straight away I'm given this screen, which is a edit table definition screen. So basically I can use this to generate the first table in my database, but two things are happening. I get to edit it using the lines, as in the cells of my, the headings of my table, but at the same time it's going to generate the SQL for me, okay, which I can then use to take and I can drop that into my Python program if I want to. So I'm going to call my table products. Always think about the naming convention that you're using in terms of capitalization. Okay, so you may want to just keep it all lowercase. With my table headings, I'll generally do a capital at the front, but it's up to you. All right, so now I've got the table heading name. There is some advanced settings here, but you don't need to worry about them. I'm going to go add. And the very first thing for my products table is, what should I do, guys? Product ID, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go product ID, and this is the naming convention. I'm going to use camel case to do the actual titles of these columns. So product ID, okay, so that's camel case, capital I. And then some important things here. The product ID is going to be a number, okay, that's important, but I'm going to use this AI feature. Okay, so AI is not artificial intelligence, it's auto increment. So what happens is every time I put a new product into my database file, it will automatically assign a new number to it, okay, and it will increment. Okay, PK is already automatically ticked, and NN means not null, means it can't be empty. So for the safety of my database, I need to tick that not null, okay, because I cannot have a product in there that doesn't have a product ID. Very important. All right, some other things we might want to put in is we could put in product name. That's going to be a text, okay. It must be filled out, right? There has to be something in that value. It's not a primary key, it's not auto increment, and does it have to be unique? Not really, okay? Doesn't really matter. It could be the same product with a different color, I don't know, okay? So I'm going to leave that exactly as it is. Add another field, and this time it's going to be description, which is much the same. It can be a text. I want there to be a description, and I'm going to do price. All right, so I'm going to choose real in this case. The reason I'm choosing real is that it gives me a decimal point. Okay, so a real in SQLite is the same as a floating number or a floating point number, okay, which has decimals. So, not null, again, because they all must have a price and everything else seems fine. So what you can see down the bottom here is we've got our SQL created for us, okay? So for the purposes of your assignment, that's what you're going to include, right? That needs to be in your documentation. You need to have that for all the different tables that you've got. The other thing you could do is you could go back to your ER diagram and you could add in this extra information of not null and the data type. Okay, you've already said the product key. Okay, you've labeled that one. If you were to have a foreign key, that's another one. So in this example, there are no foreign keys at this point. But if you wanted to have one, right, you double click over here. You see I just got that then when I double clicked. And then you can choose from the drop down. It'll give you all the tables that are in your database. Currently there's only one table that's not yet created. and then you can choose from all the different values or columns within those tables, so that you can choose which one to be your foreign key. Okay, so that's important. If you've got foreign keys in your database, which you will, you need to do that process because it will change what is spat out down here in your SQL. Okay, so once you've done that, I'm going to click OK, and you can see we've got the products table. Okay, and if I go into it, if I go browse data, you can see we've got product ID, name, description, and price. And I can actually start entering things in there. The important thing is, and I've seen a number of people get caught out with this, if you don't click write changes at the end, it doesn't actually save it into the database. Okay, so if you were to sit here and add in your values and you don't click write changes, then it's not going to be there next time you come back to it, and you'll be really confused. Okay, so that's the process of creating the tables. The next thing you might need to do, and this is actually what I'm going to get you to do, is the execute SQL. So as part of your assignment, it asks you to come up with some SQL queries that are useful to whoever's using it to pull out the data that you want. And it's up to you to come up with those SQL queries. Okay, so you need to determine what it is you want to be pulled out of the database. Okay, and then from here, you can use your knowledge that you picked up from doing the Khan Academy course to use those SQL queries to query your own database. Okay, so you type in your query here, you hit the play button, and then it gets the results of the last executed statement, goes in here. Okay, so this is kind of like you get to open up your database and look inside it and do some things with it without actually doing any coding other than the SQL code. Okay, down the track we'll take this and those SQL statements and the creating of the tables and things, that all gets put into a Python script that we'll use in other ways. Okay, so for now, this is where we're living. Thank you.